I'm CK. Tonight we've got two modules. I picked up a GEM VCF low-pass filter from God's Box and a GEM VCF high-pass filter from God's Box. Both of them I bought from Thonk, as is my habit. Filters can be either really simple or they can be really complex, and I don't know what these are going to be. I bet that they're probably very similar in construction technique, so that's why I'm combining them into one video. I'll do the low-pass filter because I want some good low-pass meatiness in my rack out here, and then I'll build the high-pass filter off camera and comment on anything that I might find that's unusual about that as we go through testing both units at the end of this video. So hope you enjoy it. A couple of filters to see. So let's see what's in the box, in the bag. Got a bag of parts, and here we've got the panel and the circuit board. Let's see what that looks like first. Here's the panel, and oh, I got it upside down. And as you would expect with a filter, not a lot to it. A Hertz button or knob for setting the filter frequency you're at. A resonance knob, looks like. An in. I'm not sure what this in is for because we've got an in down here also. And an out, CV1 and CV2, which I assume will affect the frequency and resonance. Again, I'm not sure what this in is. So that's the front panel itself. Now let's look at the circuit board. Okay, so as you can see, there's not going to be a lot for us to do on this. There's a whole bunch of surface mount components on this board, some caps, a couple of looks like op amps, and then a number of logic controllers. So this is on the complex side of what a filter is. So that will be exciting. It just means I don't get to solder as much, though. That's not as much fun. And there's another board in here. Little bitty board. And this little bitty board goes behind here and holds the jacks. So if that holds the jacks, then where do we put the knobs? Okay, so the knobs look like they go on this board. Here's frequency, here's resonance, and there's the signal in, so this will sit here. And this will kind of go here. I'm not real sure how this goes together. We'll obviously look at the build guide. So we'll set those down. Now we'll see what the parts in the parts bag are. Take that bag away. We've got some caps, tantalum cap, panel screws, this cable. That cable looks like it goes between the main board and the jack board, what I'll call the jack board. Standard eurorack cable. Put those in another bin. Then the parts. And as you can see, we've got some knobs. Oh, okay, so it doesn't go straight. These go in this way. I was wondering how this was going to fit, because obviously the circuit board is broader than the front panel. but it's going to go like that. That still makes it even more, I'm still even more confused as to how I'm going to connect that. Because it's going to, this is going to be about there if we're based on the standard jack height. Let me put, oh, I see, never mind. So this is going to be, this daughter board is just going to be held to the front panel by the jacks, and then this connector, oops, then this connector will go in here while this board is sticking there, if you can see what I'm doing here. And then this ribbon cable will connect the jack board to the main board. So it's straightforward, and it's not going to be wider than the front panel. Of course, it would of necessity can't be to be eurorack compatible at all. So if we look at this and I do a simple count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 16 components for you to mount on the board. So if you're looking for a beginner or starter eurorack module to build, well, this certainly would fit that need because it's pretty straightforward. The hard work of doing all the surface mount components has been done for you, and it would be a good thing for your first unit, particularly anyway. Everybody needs a filter. Filters are always good. So I'm going to turn off the cameras for a moment while I see if they have a build guide online and come back in a flash. And they do have a build guide, and as you can imagine, it's not very long. It's a single page, but it doesn't need to be longer than that because, again, this is relatively straightforward. One thing it does have is it has a very nice picture, and as you know, pictures are great. Shows everything together. They give you, it's the same build guide for the high pass as it is for the low pass. The only difference is that on the film box capacitors, on the low pass there's only one, on the high pass there are two. So that's the only difference. So we're going to go in the build order. As we start with our mica caps, 4 of them. And as you may note on the little bag, it gives you the positions, so that's just nice to know. This is all pretty. This will be half-hour build, except for the fact that these caps are huge compared to the holes in the board for the caps. Oops. Now the pin headers, standard eurorack one there, and then the other one is the one that's going to talk to the socket daughter board. And they don't stick up far enough for me to set this down to make sure they're parallel, so I'm going to do what I often do and hold the pin header with my pinky and solder one leg and probably burn my pinky because I'm probably touching that pin too. Nope, got lucky that time I didn't. Now it's not quite flush, so what we do is just heat that one solder spot and get it completely flush. And there, I did burn my pinky or finger. Ow! So now we're going to put the other one in the same way. pin headers are on. Let me double check the soldering. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, now we're going to put the pots and the LEDs on the board. And as typical, the author enjoins you, do not solder them yet, because you want to make sure that they fit correctly. Now that's interesting. These are, I've got two A's, which I believe are audio taper, and spots for two B's, but I'm just going to go, the picture shows two A's. Now the question is, where is the LED? Okay, there's the LED. And this is going to go, this will probably be the hardest part of the assembly, because you got to make a right angle turn to get the LED in that hole. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit here. Actually, I'm not cheating. I'm gonna do it slightly differently than the author describes. I'm just gonna peg one leg of this pot down, and again do the same view of that. Now we'll get the LED in and make sure the polarity is right, of course. Now we're going to take front panel, put it on here. We have some of the panel screws here. I'm going to loosely attach, finger tight attach the panel nut to the pot that I tack down one leg. Now we're going to take a look here and see where we want to put the bend for the LED. I'm going to, where's my bendy? Where's my bendies? I'm going to bend it right there, I believe. Put a nice 90-degree bend in there. And I think I made it way too long. I'm going to unbend that and bend it again a lot closer up. Drop that through two little holes, if I can see them. Come on. There we go. It's twisting on me. Okay. There we go. Push it on up. So that's through. So as you can see, it's not quite a straight shot. It's at a slight bit of an angle. So just be aware of that. So let me tighten that one down. Let me put the panel screw, a couple of panel screws on the resonance and in pots to get them aligned. Again, I'm not tightening them very much, just enough to keep them from flopping around while I solder. And there it is. Again, not a real exciting build video, but that's the motherboard. I'm going to go ahead and put the oops, I'm going to drop the cable. I'm going to put the eurorack cable on it right now. Red stripe aiming in the right direction, of course, natch. And then the board that connects to the socket board. The next step, ooh, the hardest part, putting all the sockets on. Okay, so that should be aligned properly. Let's just double check, see what it looks like. It looks fine. Take that back out so we're not fighting with things while we're doing it. And then we're gonna, the ribbon cable connector goes on the back like so. So I'm gonna finish that. Oops, I guess that hole in my solder pad is too deep for that, huh? Let's go over here then. Maybe actually, I think we'll use this one. See, this solder helper from Austin Ribbon mics with all the little holes is perfect for supporting various components while you're soldering in place. I forget how much I paid for it. You can go to austinmics.com, mics.com, and get one or two or three. They're really handy. And because, as I like to demo, because they're silicone rubber, the soldering iron doesn't burn them, which is why they're perfect for soldering. Now let me finish up soldering all these jacks. Jacks all soldered. Interconnect cable between the daughterboard and the the motherboard and the jack board. Connects like so. These two cables kind of interfere with each other, which is a little annoying. How does he show it? No, he shows it just as annoying as anything else. Spin the panel nuts back on. And there it is. Knobs move. Where's my... Knobs move. Jacks all work and seem secure. So I think that was about, even with talking and doing some other stuff, I think that was about a 30-minute build, and the next one will be even quicker because I won't be thinking about how to do it. So I'm gonna pause the cameras, build up the high pass filter, and when that's done, we'll put them in the rack and give them a test. All right, we're plugged in and ready to go, and we're going to be using Division 6 mini sequencer, ADX Systems VCO, a Patching Panda Punch VCA, and our two filters that we built, a little pile amplifier, and a speaker cabinet I built long ago. On the second one, on the high pass one, I didn't do a whole lot different. The only assembly difference I did was I put the connector for the daughter board on the daughter board before I put the jacks in. It just worked out easier for me that way, more easily for me that way. So we've got the sequencer running, and we're coming out of a sine wave on the ADAC, and let's turn up the input level. You can hear it filtering. Now I'm going to bring in some resonance. So you can hear it filter. It's got some interesting resonance characteristics. I'm going to try one other thing here. I don't know whether this is going to work at all. I'm going to go from the CV on the second sequencer here into CV1 here. I don't think this is going to do much, but I'm going to give it a try. Now you can hear a little going on. I need to set that up better and actually create a either an envelope or a better sequence to trigger that. So that's the low pass. Now let's go ahead and try the high pass. Same thing, turn on the sequencer. Oops, not that button, that button. Now we'll bring in up. Run the frequency up. And there you go. Both filters are good filters, but what's interesting about them is when you start playing around with resonance and hitting the resonance peaks for what you're working on. So, really quick builds. This one took 35 minutes because I was talking to y'all and learning how it went together. This one took 15 minutes to put together. They're good. It's good to have nice filters in your rack. And what I need to do is play around more with CV. I'm sure the resonance is so strong here that creating some good resonance envelopes will be good. The only thing I have to say other than that is, you heard it, there's a lot of gain changes as you change resonance, so that's something you have to be very aware of and compensate for changes in volume as you're tweaking around with that, or else you're going to blow out your speakers, or you're going to blow out your audience. So that's it. 2 very quick builds from God's Box. Nice to have low pass and a high pass filter hanging around just in case you need it, with some resonance to make some real grungy noise. Okay, we'll do one more sample with the LFO. We'll do one more sample with the low-pass filter, and this time I'm feeding the envelope from the punch into CV2, which is resonance. So we'll give that a try. I'm going to do the standard one first. So you can see it's sweeping with the envelope. Now I'm going to reverse the envelope. So transmitting an envelope to the filter parameter sounds pretty good. Let's do it on the actual frequency now. I haven't done this, so I don't know what this one's going to sound like. So yeah, adding an envelope into CV is very much fun for this, and can make some very interesting sounds. Hope you enjoyed it.